episode features experts from various fields as they share their experiences in the agriculture sector. Catch new episodes of Ulimi every Monday at 17:30 hours.
Now, as you know that we are in the festive season, and this particular time is when people get to impulse buy and also get to, get a lot of money on Nkongole. And some people actually go out of their way to spend a lot of money during the festive season. Now, today I'll be talking to Mr. Barry Mutapa, who is a credit controller. And there are just a few things that we need to know about spending money, obviously, during the festive season and how exactly we can get to manage our finances. Good morning, Mr. Mutapa. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Rhoda.
All right. Now, first things first, as the year is ending, most people set goals for this particular year, the entire year. Do you think there's enough time to get to achieve some of the goals that, an individual has set, like, at this time of the year?
Basically, Kylie, when you're setting goals, you need to look at the short term and also the long term. So it depends on the type of goals that person has set.
Yeah.
If it's short term, I think the year is just a number. You can re-strategize, you can rethink through, and you can also look within yourself. What is it that we have achieved? And based on that, if there are some things that are not achieved, you can still push some in next year. And then maybe you overestimate for next year so that you squeeze those things that you haven't achieved in this year. If it's for a long term, you work towards that, because a long term is something more than maybe 5 years. That goes 10, 15 or 30 years. But for a short term period, it can be 1 year, it can be 6 months. And usually those things, you are just trying to break something from a long term, and then you break them into short term. So those that are easily achievable, and those that you prioritize that these are easily achievable, then you do them. Those that are long term, you need just to push your resources somewhere. Because I know this year was mainly affected by the economical aspect. The exchange rates increased. Those that were in businesses, those that received appointments maybe for new career, and they were unable to travel to new countries because there was a lockdown. So that lapse in cash flow was able to disrupt a lot of things. But still, many people maybe sometimes will be receiving bonuses, will be receiving dividends for their investments in their shares. Some the bonds will be maturing. Even as a country, we were maturing for 2022 and other things. So still there's something that you can do and squeeze. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are some of the things that someone should do in order to attain their goals? I mean, for most of us, we tend to set some goals, but then the achieving process sometimes could be very difficult, especially in terms of managing finances. Like, you want to save for this particular thing, you want to spend on something. How exactly do you put that in order?
Yeah, basically, the first thing that you need to itemize the things that you want to achieve, and then stick to the budget. Even if I know the resources are always never enough, but if you stick to the budget and begin to apply that money or that resource that you have towards that which you've itemized, you find that you achieve maybe 60 or 75% of what you've done. And like where you begin to move by sight. What I mean by sight, you moved by what you are seeing from your colleagues. And then you try to copy your friends, maybe because your friend has achieved in that area. So you want to achieve. If I divert my resources into what the other friend has done, you find that you move away from your lane. So you need to stick to what you planned. If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board. Begin to identify internally what is it that we didn't do right. Maybe it's because you are excited on an individual level. You are excited maybe because of the Christmas, because of the festive. You will see many adverts, you will see many conferences, many things that will be popped up. You need now to begin to say, this money which I have, which is not enough, I've got things that I need to achieve next year. What is it that I need to spend on? Mainly, yes, for ladies and for other people, they will spend on clothes to look glance and other things. But you find that you need to look at maybe you have got a debt that you need to pay. Maybe you have got another payment you need to pay towards your purchase of your building. Maybe a land for a plot or a farm or whatever you wanted to invest in. Or even it's for a career you want to upgrade your knowledge in your field. So you need to be very, very disciplined so that you spend your money towards what you planned. And those that will remain, then you can, of course, add some pleasure here and there. But you need to be careful that, as you've seen, this year has been unpredictable. So maybe next year will even be worse, depending on the outcome. We are anticipating that the exchange rate may not drop because the uncertainties in the global market is there, and the elections which are there in America have made things to be standstill. So there is no money going out of the country because the people to approve are no longer there. So you find that the dollar might go up and other things might come in. So we need to be able to predict. That prediction instinct in us will able to help us to spend wisely. So we need to say, if things was going to go like this, how can I do like this in a positive way? So these are the things that you need to do. So in summary, you need to spend your money on something that will add value, not on something that will just do for pleasure.
And also, just in addition to that, especially during the festive season and also a beginning of the new year, I see people spending during the festive season, and then when the next year comes, this is when now you're stuck on school fees, you don't know what to do. People start borrowing a lot of money without thinking of how exactly am I going to return that. So in the near future, you see that somebody probably gets a salary of 5,000 and half of it, or almost the entire salary, goes to clear their debts. How do you handle that, the pressure of the festive season and getting into the new year as well?
The first thing I think you need to ask yourself a question: where do I want to be? So that question will help you to allocate the resources. So these are the factors which will come, which we may call enticing things or temptations that may come to entice you. Like I'm saying, many adverts are running on TVs, on radios. No, there will be this live presentation of a musician, of a what you want to go and attend. Maybe friends will pressurize you. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, is it worth it? If I spend, and before I answer that, you find that most of the salaries for people who go in earlier than the way they have been. Those that are getting paid on 31st, maybe they'll be paid on 25. So there's that lapse of 7 days which will need to be cushioned for next month, because next month will be a long month. So you find that how are you going to recover in a 5,000 if you spend 3,000 on clothes and other things to please the neighbors and your friends? How are you going to cushion the 2,000 for 30 days plus 7 which you got paid earlier in December? So these are the questions that you need to ask, and that's why I think we are talking about this, so that people are prepared psychologically, so that we know that there's tomorrow that awaits us. There are expenses that we need to spend, and we need to spend on something that will add value to our family and our individual selves. So these are the things that we need to ask ourselves, and then we need to develop that self-discipline and be able to deny yourself from certain things. Because believe you me, every success business people, these bigger organizations we are saying, they are trying to study the market. How will the dollar be? So if they are importing things for their produce, maybe at 1,000 kwacha, next year they will go at 1,200. So that they need to cushion that 200 on top. So these are some of the questions that we need to ask. We need to anticipate and able to sit and just be realistic with ourselves.
And also, what is your message to people that did not manage to attain their goals this particular year? Restarting, some soul searching as well.
That's a very good question. What I can say is that 2021 is just a year. What shouldn't change is our mindset. Our mindset that we wanted to achieve something shouldn't change, not even a bit. What will just change is a year. But we need to be mindful that success also goes with age. The more you wait for a long time that you postpone certain things that I'll do tomorrow, you find that you are aging, and the strength which you had to accomplish at that particular time will be less. and even the people that will surround you and the environment that you find, things will change. The way they are looking at things today, they will not happen tomorrow. And even the value for money. If you have 1,000 today, after 2 days you find that to become expensive. Even for example, your air, the way you are buying at the beginning of the year, it was cheaper. And this time if you go and buy, it's expensive. And you are planning that that's when I'm going to buy. So these are things that you are saying we need to anticipate, that things will be different. Things might go worse than the way they are, because other nations are beginning to recover. And you are interconnected with these neighbors. So and you remember Zambia, it depends on imports. So if your neighboring country is affected, definitely the prices in Zambia will go up. So these are the things we need to look into as families, and as a person, you need to sit down. How much are you earning? How are you going to break it within your expenses? So you must spend within your means. But also one thing that we need to understand is that our mindset shouldn't change. Even if we cross over to the next year, we just need to improve on the energy that we had for last year, and then begin to grow our energy. So that's the thing which we need to understand as viewers, so that we are able to spend wisely. And spend mainly something that will develop yourself, not on pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mtapa, for coming through to our breakfast show this morning, and for just giving us light on how to manage our finances. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we do continue with our QTV breakfast show. Remember, we are still counting down to Christmas, so there's a lot we have jam-packed for you today. Stick around, we'll be back shortly.
Darkness is always just try to be, people always look at the darkness.
And demonic.
And demonic. Why is it that everything that's bad has to be black?
Be able to take Zambian music and say, this is what we do in my country, and maybe help to promote
like the generation we're in, we just become confident in being.
She's laughing. You make her day beautiful.
They really do.
And many men are marrying because they are on heat. They want someone to sleep with. They want someone to wash for them. They want someone to cook for them. But in Genesis 1 and 2, it wasn't so.